Hey, my name's Sarah Demoini, and I am working with the Lee County Remembrance Project and the Education Committee there to to kick off the third essay contest that we have had. And so I'm going to share a screen here in just a second. Um, and if you have questions, then feel free to put them into the chat or unmute and just call out. Once I share my screen, it may be a little hard for me to see if you kind of do a raise your hand. Um, so I'm going to share this and then I'll also introduce Joe here in just a second. All right, so okay, so this is our third contest, and we're doing this in partnership with the Equal Justice Initiative in Montgomery. And so we're excited that we're able to partner with them again. And Joe Davis is one of the co-directors of Lee County Remembrance Project. And so he's going to give just a really quick overview of what this organization is here in the community and why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you to everyone who's here tonight. We are just excited about having another contest this year, partnering with Equal Justice Initiative um, to be able to bring more awareness around issues of racial justice in our community, and hear your thoughts and your perspectives on the impact of this history today and ways forward towards towards reconciliation, towards more unity, towards more healing. And that's really what we're about as an organization. Lee County Remembrance Project started in 2018 with the two women that you see in the picture there near the historical marker. On the left of the marker is Dr. Ashley Brown, and then on the right side of the marker is Dr. Olivia Nichols. Um, Ashley Brown serves with me as a co-executive director. She wasn't able to make it tonight. We do miss her, and she's one of the founders, co-founders of our organization. Uh, they, Olivia and Ashley started in 2018 after the Equal Justice Initiative had opened up a new memorial in Montgomery called the National Memorial for Peace and Justice. And that memorial, it tells the names and memorializes over 4,500 victims of racial terror violence in the United States from, I believe it's 1877 through 1950. And the way they do that is they have the names of victims of racial terror violence uh, inscribed on pillars, and there's a pillar for each county. And so for Lee County, Alabama, there's four names on that pillar, and they're shown in the graphic there on the right side of the screen. John Moss and George Hart, Samuel Harris, and Charles Humphreys. And so Ashley and Olivia were both very inspired by the work of Equal Justice Initiative. And what EJI did was to ask communities all around the country who had a marker at this memorial in Montgomery. They asked every community to take up this work for themselves, to do more research, to raise awareness, to educate their communities about their history of racial terror violence and the impact that legacy still has today. And that's exactly what Ashley and Olivia began doing. They took the research from what EJI had started and they went deeper. Um, we've actually uncovered now a fifth victim of racial terror lynching that we've documented here in Lee County, Charles Miller. And so since that time, we've continued to do several things. We we do activities around commemoration, and so remembering these victims of racial terror lynching, and that's looked like going out to the actual geographical locations or near as much as we can determine where these lynchings occurred and collecting soil from these locations. And that soil represents the blood, the sweat, the tears, just it just kind of represents those lives that were taken and those communities that were impacted by those acts of violence. And we've collected that soil in jars. Those jars are now on display at the Equal Justice Initiative's Legacy Museum in Montgomery. And they're also on display in Opelika at the Museum of East Alabama, where we've created an exhibit. After the soil collection process, we worked on a historical marker, which is shown here in this image. And this is right in front of the Lee County Courthouse, and they're in Opelika next to the fountain. And we would encourage you to stop by and really look into this, the history that's described on this marker. We held a ceremony in the summer of 2021 to dedicate this marker. And that was actually our first racial justice essay contest, coincided with the unveiling of this marker. That's also when we opened up our exhibit there at the Museum of East Alabama, which is also in downtown Opelika, just really across the street from the courthouse. In addition to those commemoration events, we work on education, and the essay contest is the main activity there. We also have continued the research. Like I mentioned, Charles Miller, Ashley and Olivia and others from the community were able to uncover that event, and were able to submit that to Equal Justice Initiative. So that is now recorded in their database, and it's also part of our website. We've not created a marker yet for Charles Miller. That event was discovered and uncovered right as we were finalizing plans for this first historical marker. And there's other research that needs to be done in our community. We know these 5 victims that have been identified are not all that's there. And so we continue that work of research, of education, and commemoration. We also just recently became a nonprofit, and so we're trying to grow as an organization, and that's been exciting. So when we think about this essay contest, this is a way for us to engage the young people in our community around not just events of racial terror or lynching, but to broaden the horizon, to look at issues of maybe voting rights or integration of schools, or economic injustice, racial wealth gap. There's so many topics that we need to be more aware of, and we need to hear your voices on, hear your perspectives on. So it's also a great scholarship opportunity as well. There are some cash prizes involved, as I'm sure you noticed, and we're excited about that too. So I think that wraps it up. Sarah, is there anything I missed that you'd want to highlight?
Yeah, I think that's good. And I think just to kind of piggyback on the essay contest, these are from the 2 that we have had so far, and some of the participants and winners of those. The first year that we had it, the winner was from Beauregard. Her name was Mary Ellen. And then in the second year, Janaya here won from Smith Station. So these are from the past 2 events. And thanks, Joe, for giving us a little bit of background about Lee County Remembrance Project. And I saw that Ms. Tripp was on here too. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, and if not, then I can just say who you are.
Hi, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm
Okay.
driving. So. But I'm Tamika Tripp. Hey, everyone, glad y'all on.
And
Wow.
Mr. Tripp has been there helping with the education committee too. So thanks for being on here. So we're gonna jump into just giving you the info about the essay contest so that you can participate. And we'll just go through the contest, look at the website, make sure you know about all of the resources available and supports that there are along the way. So Joe did a good job of kind of setting the background the contest. But the prompt was clearly written by EJI and connected to some resources that they have. So I'm just going to read through the prompt, and then I'm going to open up the resources so that you can kind of see where they're asking you to start from. The prompt is to choose one historical event presented in EJI's 2024 Racial Injustice Calendar and write an 800 to 1,000 word essay that dives deeper into the significance, impact, and lasting effects of that event. Utilize the full research reports and videos available on EJI's website, along with other relevant sources related to the topic of your choice to provide a detailed and well-supported analysis. Consider the broader implications of the event on society, contributing factors that may have caused the event, the progress that's been made since that event happened, and the ongoing relevance of addressing racial injustice in today's world. Your essay should not only recount the historical facts, but also critically examine the underlying causes and consequences of the injustice highlighted. So, EJI has a lot of resources to begin the research for this, and I wanted to show you the racial injustice calendar that they're talking about. So every year they put out a calendar, and for every day of the year, they highlight an example of racial injustice in US history. And so you can get to that calendar here online and just use their website to go through and see the calendar. But I also have calendars that EJI sent that each of you can have a copy of. So what I plan to do is to talk to each of the schools that you're at, and to then see if I can leave some of the calendars at the front office with your names on it. And you can go by and pick up a calendar. It may be easier to look at all of the different events in the calendar when you can kind of flip through it than having to kind of click on a bunch of different dates. So next week, I will try to have the calendars out at the schools, and I will email you when the schools have the calendars so that you can pick one up if you would like to have your own hard copy of the calendar. So I think to get started, I would encourage you, if you haven't yet, to go to the official website that EJI has. And when you go to their website, the first page is just kind of overview of information with some important dates on it. But I would encourage you to go directly to the essay contest details. It has the prompt there for you again, and links to that calendar and some video resources. But it also gives you just some kind of steps to get started. So here they have listed out a bunch of topics that you may be interested in. So maybe you want to look at voter suppression. I mean, it's the election season right now, and so that may be something that is on people's minds. And so you could start here by looking at some basic kind of general topics where a lot of racial injustice has happened historically and still has consequences today. And then you would want to kind of choose an event. So if you talked about voter suppression, you would want to choose an event where that definitely occurred. And then you want to kind of make connections to today. What's the legacy of that? And how can we move forward from it? A big part of the essay is to make sure we know these learn the truths that have happened, but then to begin to think about, okay, well, now that we know this, what can we do about it? And how are we challenging these injustices today? So there's some information on kind of writing your essay, but this right here is where you actually submit the essay. So once you have your essay complete, you'll submit it as a PDF or Word document, and you can only submit it through this EJI website for our contest. So I wanted to just make sure that you knew exactly where it was that you would submit. let me come back here. I think I maybe saw one question. Okay, that was just Joe saying he had to step away. So definitely check out the website. Just to be clear, and I think everybody is that has signed up so far, to be eligible to participate, you need to be a 9th through 12th grader at a public high school in Lee County, Opelika, or Auburn. And that could be 9th grade, Auburn Junior High as well. The contest ends on October 22nd. So you want to make sure that you have your essay submitted by that time. And so, like I said, if you kind of break that prompt down, you want to think about kind of this big overall topic about racial injustice, find an event that was an example of that happening, and then make a connection to present day. So I try to kind of like show an example of narrowing your focus there. In addition to those resources that EJI has with their calendar and videos linked on their website, Lee County Remembrance Project also has some resources, and that's here in a Google folder that you all have access to. And all of these are specific about historical injustices here in Lee County. So you may decide that, again, you're going to focus on voter suppression, and you may want to focus on something specific to Lee County, and you could find information about that here. So besides those kind of resources that are there, on the website for the contest, there's a bunch of tips just on kind of thinking about how to organize an essay, how to revise an essay. I'm going to send out a student checklist to each of you that have signed up, and it has all the links that are on this PowerPoint and just some things to keep in mind and important dates on that. And then we also want to offer just some editing feedback. So if you write a draft of your essay and you want to get feedback on that for editing, maybe revising, helping you think about how to maybe organize it a little bit better, then you can email me the draft by October 9th, and somebody from the Lee County Remembrance Project will provide feedback, and I can send that to you so that you have time to make revisions before you submit it to the EJI contest website. So I'll send out some reminders for that, but definitely I encourage you to share any drafts so that you can get some feedback along the way. And then I would also just ask that you follow Lee County Remembrance Project on Instagram or maybe Facebook. We'll continue to put updates there. We're hoping to post some videos with research ideas and kind of some writing support along the way, and just updates and reminders. So there's a lot of resources to help you along the way, and hopefully you can take advantage of some of those. So again, the deadline is October 22nd. You have to submit it through the contest website, and it has to be as a PDF or a Word document. And then a couple of things to definitely remember. On the website, it says you need to have kind of a resource list or a reference list at the end of your essay. And that doesn't count towards the 800 to 1,000 words. But any resource that you use to help you think about and write your essay, you want to list it. You don't have to use like MLA or APA. You don't necessarily have to be that detailed in your citation. But if it's an online resource, you want to give the name of the article or the name of the website, and then the complete website address in that reference list. So make sure that you do that. And then also EJI is really clear that the use of AI tools in researching or in writing your essays is not allowed. So I know sometimes we can use AI tools to begin to brainstorm about an idea and to write things for us, but you need to make sure that you're not using those tools for this specific contest. And and somehow I made this PowerPoint without saying that there's $5,000 of prizes for winners of this contest. So we're really excited, and hopefully it can be a good scholarship opportunity for you all. So I want to kind of pause there and see if you have any questions that I can answer, or any concerns that you may have. Okay, I do have a question for you all about the EJI calendar. Maybe if you could give like a thumbs up or thumbs down on Zoom, or just give a comment if you think you would be able to pick up the calendar from your school, like front office, if I'm able to leave it there, if you feel like that would work for you. Thanks, Amari. Cool. All right. Thanks, y'all. I have my email address. I think I sent probably all of you just a reminder about tonight. And so I'll just send again an email out probably tomorrow or Monday with the checklist. I'll put this recording on there so that you can see that as well. And I'll also give you a heads up when the calendars are at your school front office for you to be able to pick it up. But once you get started, if you have questions along the way, or you're wondering about like, would this topic work? Does this make sense about using this topic and this historical event? I'm happy to help you think about that, and other people on the education committee, I'm sure, would be happy to help out as well. But we're excited, and we will keep you posted on resources and support. So thanks for being on here. Zoom's not fun after school. So thanks for being here, and I'll hang out here if you have any questions or anything else you want to ask. If not, then I hope you have a great night.
Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
And good luck, people. Good luck, people.
Thanks,
all
Dr.
y'all.
Umar.
All the best, y'all.
Thank you. Kaya, do you have any questions about the contest?